Alright, guys, so Orphan First Kill, I was finally able to see last night, and I loved the first Orphan. Like, I saw it when it came out, and I absolutely loved that movie. If you want to hear a whole discussion, spoiler discussion I did on it, it should pop up right there. Or it's fucking summertime if you're in the States. It's nice out. Get the hell out. Go for a walk. Fucking who wants to sit here and listen to me? Fuck this channel. Go do something fun. Want to listen to me talk about a prequel about a dwarf and shit. But seriously, when this movie was announced that they were going to be doing a prequel to Orphan, I had two major concerns. One being that Isabel Furman, who plays Esther, is 24, 25 years old now. I think she was 23 during the filming of this. And she had to play a young child again, just like in the first movie, which she was, I think, 11 or 12 in the first movie. So her look was very concerning to me, how they were going to go about that. And the second concern I had was, this is William Brent Bell directing this. The same guy who brought us most recently The Boy, which is not too good, and Brahms' The Boy 2, which was terrible. So just knowing that he was directing this movie had me very concerned for this movie. And I'm happy to say I'm pleasantly surprised. I was very surprised with how much I liked this prequel. They did a very good job. Like, Isabel Furman, wonderful, just like in the first movie. Like, gives a great performance. And I'm not going to get into spoilers. I'm just going to make this a short little spoiler-free review because it just came out last week, and wait for, a lot more people to see it and everything. But I will be doing a in-depth spoiler discussion like I usually do for movies down the line, probably a week or two. I'm doing the Friday the 13th series this week, and I'm just finishing up the month of Argento August, covering all of Dario Argento's movies. So sometime in the near future, in the next few weeks, I'll have a full spoiler discussion video up on this movie. But very well done. Like, all my concerns were absolutely alleviated when I saw this movie. Like, her appearance in this, which was very tough to do. Like, to have her portray in the first movie this young girl, then we get the twist that nobody really saw coming, that she was actually a 33-year-old woman with proportionate dwarfism from a gland disorder. This movie, we know that she's an older woman. We know she's a grown woman in her 30s. And she has to go back into playing a child. So it's very interesting the way that they were able to pull this off. Her look in this movie is great. Like, it did not bother me at all, the way that she looks in this movie. Like, I know that they digitally de-aged her a bit with like CGI, and they use some clever camera tricks and everything. There's a few scenes, like in certain lighting, that she does look a little older, but I mean, come on, she's fucking in her 20s, like her mid-20s. Like, they did the best that they can possibly do. And the best that they can do was really fucking good. Like, it didn't bother me, like I said, one bit really, during this movie. She looked just like Esther from the first movie for the most part. She sounded like her, she acted just like Esther. Like, it didn't feel weird in any way. It didn't seem strange the way that she looked. I wasn't watching this movie saying, she looks so much older in this. Like, not at all. Like, they really did a great job with this. And just explaining the whole little plot hole that people love to bring up with the first movie of how did Esther get from Estonia, from the Sarn Institute, to America, to an orphanage, without like an explanation or anything like that. So they were really able to address that with this movie too. And the directing was very good in this movie. Like, I was very impressed that William Brent Bell did such a good job directing this movie after the two Boy movies, which I said was a big concern for me. And the whole beginning of this movie, very well done. I mean, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that she's in the Sarn Institute and she escapes and works her way to America somehow. I'm not going to say how. And this movie, around like the halfway mark, takes a completely different direction than you think that it would. Like, again, I'm not going to spoil anything with this video, but in a good way. Like, it takes a huge turn that you would not see coming, but a very good turn. Like, it's a very interesting choice for how they approach this prequel. And everyone did a good job in this. So Julia Stiles, I've always been iffy on. Like, she's great in some things, like when she played Lumen on Dexter. Really loved her performance in that season. But then there's other movies like the Omen remake, and don't care for her. Like, she's very hit or miss for me. She did a very good job in this. Like, I highly enjoyed her performance in this movie. Rossif Sutherland did a great job as the father. Like, everybody in this movie did a very good job. The directing was great. We get a few like nods to the first movie and like some explanations of why Esther does certain things or where she learned certain things that she does in the first movie. Very well done. Like, I was very, very impressed with this prequel. Do I put it up with the original? No. Like I said, I adore the first Orphan. It's a very, very great movie for me. And I have fond memories of seeing it in the theater and everything. And just the whole thing with Vera Farmiga and that, and Max, the little kid, who's just the most adorable kid in a fucking horror movie ever. But with what they had to work with for this prequel, they absolutely did a phenomenal job. Like, I highly recommend seeing this movie, especially if you're a fan of the first movie. Like, you will definitely enjoy this. You will definitely enjoy all the callbacks to the first film, and you will definitely not see the direction this movie goes in. And it makes you feel bad for Esther in a way, like that she has this disorder that she just looks like a child her whole life. Like, since she was 10 years old is when she stopped growing, and that she misses out on like her whole life. Like, she's confined to being a child. She's confined to looking like a child and not being able to experience anything in her life as she grew into an adult mentally. And they really shed a lot of light on that in this movie. And they kind of make you feel bad for her in a way. And it really works. Like, at certain points in this movie, like I was saying to myself, like, it really sucks, man, like what this woman has been through in her life and what she's had to deal with. Yeah, she's a fucking psychopathic murderer, but it's still like you feel bad for her at certain points, that she was robbed of a life, basically, that she's been trapped as a child for 30-something years. And they do an excellent job of conveying that. So, Orphan First Kill, very, very entertaining. Very, very well done, and the concerns I had for it, thankfully, were absolutely eliminated when I finally saw this. So, anyone who hasn't seen it, absolutely go see it, especially, like I said, if you're a fan of the first Orphan, definitely worth it. I'm glad that this movie exists. It's not like certain movies that get sequels or prequels that it's like, well, whatever, like, it exists. Like, I wish it didn't, but it does, and you gotta live with it. Like with Three from Hell from Rob Zombie. After House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, we really didn't need Three from Hell. But it exists. What are you going to do? This isn't that type of prequel or sequel, whatever you want to call it. Well, it is a prequel, but you know what I mean. It's fucking a sequel prequel to the movie. And definitely glad that this movie exists. Like, this was very surprising when I first heard that they were making a prequel to Orphan from 2009, and very, very well done. So anybody who is interested in seeing the movie or was iffy about the whole idea of her playing a child again in her mid-20s and just worried about the premise or where they can go with this, just go into it with an open mind and you will absolutely enjoy this movie. But all right, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the movie. If you go out and see it, let me know if you have seen it, what you thought about it, and I will have a full spoiler discussion video, like I said, up in the near future. But all right, take care, guys, wherever you're from. Good morning, good night. Hope you're having a good day. Take care.